Jayam Jayatu Shasanam Vande Vidyasagaram. Alright, so this particular video series is going to be in English due to the fact that cloud security is quite a sensitive topic still now, and there are many resources available, yet people tend to look what can be the approach in order to uh, read them or in order to learn step by step, because since resources are so abundant that people actually don't understand where to start from. So in order to do that, we're going to do some cloud security series, and we're going to do the practical also, as well as the theory part, covering both step by step simultaneously, so that you can absorb the most of the content that here we're going to say. All right, so before actually starting, I just wanted to tell you that I'm going to do practicals from this particular labs known as Pond Labs, and I'm not actually they are not sponsoring me, or I'm not promoting anything, but these labs which I got, which from my experience, are the like best for the beginners, right? We can actually learn a thing or two, which can be helpful in CTFs or in real life pen test due to some misconfigurations for S3 buckets and everything else, and other cloud pen test also, not just any containing the S3 bucket. So let's start. Okay, so before actually uh, going to the particular exercise, let me just tell you uh, how to find exercise on this one. Just pick the team, I'm going to do that, and pick the platform, I'm going to do the AWS one. And these are all premium labs, you have to pay for it, but since this one is the free one, I'm going to start with this one, AWS S3 enumeration basics, right? Beginner one. So let's play the lab first, right? Mm. Okay, so we have the website over here. As you can see, the website is in an instance, and you could actually uh, you can actually navigate it without even going to that particular website, right? Or just sorry what I'm saying, without actually creating an instance, or without actually creating a account on it. But I recommend you to create an account for this particular Pond Labs, due to the fact that you can actually show your progress report to the third party, or to the vendor, or to anyone else who are you going to be responsible, that yeah, I know cloud security. So it is actually good for you and good for Pond Labs also, that they gain a follower and you also gain some knowledge. So that's why it's good to create a account on it, right? So let's start. All right, let me just clear it, because I have the website loaded over here. Now as you guys can see, uh, first the get request for this particular website itself, and the second request, as you can see, is for this particular Amazon S3 AWS.com, right? uh, which means that we can actually do this via pursuit also, that we can actually see that okay, so there is an S3 bucket running in the background, and it is loading this particular script from that bucket. We can also judge this thing with the help of developer tools, or by viewing the source code of the page. We can see these blue colored links, and we can look for any link which contains the S3. Here we got https://s3 and Amazon AWS. By doing control F and doing s3 dot Amazon AWS, see there are instances, five instances, I'm sorry, my bad, right? The fifth one being at the last. Okay, so let's continue. The second way is that I have this particular tool known as link lift, where it gives me the particular links which are embedded into the page, since sometimes we get our we don't know what we are looking for, and we overlook some things which might be important for us. So link lifter can help you only to filter out the links, the CSS and the JavaScript links, as well as the comments also. So this is the right, this is the tool. The comments are over here, right? While the CSS links are here, the JavaScript links are here, as well as the third party or the embedded links are over here, right? It doesn't fill your terminal, it only brings the relevant links, not those bootstrap ones or everything else, right? We can see from here also there is an S3 Amazon AWS.com, right? So there is an S3 bucket running in the background. We can clearly see it. So how to proceed now? So in order to do that, you need to have a little bit knowledge for AWS CLI. Now what is this? I don't know. So I'm going to show you in a bit. Now AWS CLI is a particular command line interface by the Amazon Web Services, from which with the help of this AWS CLI you can manage your S3 buckets, which is a remote cloud bucket from your own local desktop, right? Let's just go to the original website first. How to install it, we're going to see it later. Let's first see what it is. So AWS CLI is a unified tool to manage your AWS services, right? With just one tool and download and configure, you can control multiple AWS services from the command line and automate them through scripts, right? So how to invoke it? We can do AWS space what we need to do. Instead of EC2 we can do IAM services also, and there are actually multiple services for that. uh, so now even if you do not have AWS account, you just if you know only the Linux commands like lscp, you can you can actually pretty smoothly you can operate the AWS CLI. It's not that hard, and I recommend you guys to learn it as quick as it can be, so that you can show to the third party vendors that okay, you have a hands-on experience and you are fluent in some things which can be judged by your work. So in order to install it, what we can do is we can go to the Linux part, right? This is for the removal with the help of yum, which is the Red Hat package manager, right? But we are, since if you are a Debian one, which I'm using a Kali, so we can install it with the help of this AWS CLI by downloading the AWS CLI zip, unzipping it, and there is a script already included in order to install. Now as you can see, it requires root privileges. So if you are in a PC where you do not have certain where you have certain restrictions, so I guess you have to look on it, right? So I have this AWS CLI already installed, so let's continue it. Now how do you know if you have installed or not? So you can do just AWS -h and you will get some help, right? AWS space help sorry, see the AWS command line doing the same thing that was mentioned into the website also, right? So before actually starting, we also need to learn a little bit about AWS S3 bucket. Now S3 we can see, just a second. Alright. So let's start, right? So first of all, when we look at the link, right, when we look at the S3 buckets link and we try to go there, for example, let's just say we open this link into the new tab, right? Rather than going to this particular static and logo.png, we just want to browse the whole link itself. So it says that the access is currently denied and shows us the request ID as well as the host ID. It gets logged, right? So how actually do we have to access it? What do we actually need to know about S3 is that S3 bucket is just like a folder or just like a small container which is online, and that container is quite big, so that it can actually keep multiple things quite a big amount of data it can keep. So it's just like a folder, right? So we have to treat it like that folder as we treat the folder into our current Linux or Windows PC, right? So how do we access it? We can access it with the help of the AWS CLI, right? We can use the AWS CLI in order to access it. How do we access it? That seems the questions, right? So in order to do that, first we do AWS, and we say AWS that we want to access the S3 bucket, right? We want to access that S3 bucket. Now sorry, we want to access the S3 bucket, and we say that uh, we want to list all the contents that we have, since we do an ls command over here and we get the contents, right? So we say it that we want to list all the commands that list all the contents that we currently have. And where do we have to list it to? We say it s3 colon backslash backslash. Now since s3 is also a protocol, so we say that we want the which is enabled onto that particular server, like, and we say dev dot, wait a second, do I have, okay, right, I have it. Alright, let's just try this one currently. Let's see if we get something. Okay, unable to locate credentials. You have to configure credentials by running AWS configure. No worries. It just says that we don't have credentials for now, because since we cannot directly access someone else's folder just like that, we have to look for credentials also, right? So how do we do that? Okay, so before actually telling you that we need to get the credentials, let me just tell you one thing also. For example, if we have the credentials and we just want to you guys might be thinking that okay, so the credentials we require, right? No worries. How this thing can be misconfigured? Like if we require credentials and without credentials we cannot actually access anything, so this is just a logical explanation that okay, so it is secure. Now there is this one thing that we perform, that we tell AWS that okay, please try it without credentials and let's see that if we actually get things, or we actually get our command executed over there. So there is this one scenario which I need to tell you before actually giving the credentials. So what I do is I tell him that kindly please do the no sign request. Now no sign request says that you have to do it without actually getting the credentials from anywhere, right? Like for example, if we do not have the credentials, so kindly please do not ask for, so I say no sign request. Let's try this one and let's see if we get lists of things that are currently over there onto that s3 bucket. Okay, see, as you can see that we did get something. So this is what I wanted to tell you, that this is the misconfiguration that actually happens. That first it was asking for the credentials. Now we have to give it credential into, we can give it via AWS space configure, or we can put it into a current particular file, name that particular file, and put the credentials over there, and it just picks up from there. So let's continue without any credentials, because since we need to see that how extend till we what else we can do without credentials. So let's see. I want to list everything recursively, so I just say it it's just hyphen recursive or hyphen recursive. Okay, so it's hyphen recursive. Alright, so so it says that access is denied. We cannot actually go to the we cannot recursively do everything. So what else we can try? We did got some results earlier. So let's try that one. Let's try admin one. See if we're doing recursive. No recursive one. And in parallel, okay, so it's not giving us admins things. We have to keep on trying. This is the only way. That let's just try migration files. Alright, migration files, and over here you can try for shared. I guess shared might be the one that I can get. I'm just guessing. NIG and SHRED, because since shared folders are actually for everyone, right? Okay, so they are not getting shared ones also. SHRD, alright. Let's try for static one. But I guess static ones might be having all that JavaScript and CSS and that logos and everything. So I guess there's okay, right. So okay. Access is denied still. You can try something else. What if I do this? What if I wait a second? If I try this one with slashes, because sometimes what happens is with the help of slash we can actually do some listing and bypass things. I'm just guessing. I'm just trying blindfoldedly. I don't know if I'll get something. Then we can jump on to next. Okay, see, right, right. I was trying. Okay, so this actually goes into the notes. Wait a second. We can actually look for things with the help of this particular slash also, since we did get something HL migration project.zip, right? So as I told you earlier that we can actually do copy commands, we can do listing commands just like in Linux. So what if I try to copy it over here? Let's just try cp, right? Since it's a folder, we can treat it like a folder, and I do it over here. Let's just try. I'm just trying. I don't know if I will get something. Okay, see, we did get something. See, we have this, right? Okay, so we have a PowerShell script. Let's try. Okay, so we get something. We get the access key, we get the secret key, we get the region. All right, these are the things that are required for actually configuring the AWS to your local, where we can actually tell the AWS CLI that this is my AWS bucket with these are the credentials. Kindly please do these things, and we can manage our S3 buckets right over from here via these credentials that you are seeing currently on the screen, right? So as you can see, the PowerShell script also does the same. The set AWS credentials, set AWS region, and what else it's doing? It's uploading something. Result new secret name secret. Okay. Write output log entry. Right. Failed attempt to load secret. Sorry. Alright, so we did get something. Let's copy it. For that I'm going to use normal cat. Alright, now let me show you how to do a configuration. AWS configure, we tell it. Now it's asked for AWS access key. This is our access key, right? Can give it AWS secret key. It asks for, you can give it that one, right? Sorry. Now the default region is it asks. You can give it US East 1, and default format, I guess we can do it none, right? So now what I can do is I have this command over here which I can tell it that kindly please tell me that what all S3 buckets that I have currently. I had to do the default output format JSON, but since I messed up, right? Let's just try this one. I can ask AWS to tell me what all instances that I have currently. Authorized to perform this action. Okay, no worries. It's still are not authorized to perform. Alright, sorry for the glitch, guys. Okay, so we can ask AWS to tell me that who am I. Like for example, uh, from which user that I'm currently running in for that AWS S3 bucket. That I since for example, let's say if I am user A, user B, or user C, so I can get that user also, just like we do in here. Who am I? We can do us who am I over there. So we can tell AWS, right? For example, over here, just like this command, uh, we can ask AWS, and where STS stands for the security token service, we can ask this security token service that kindly please tell me that what is the information of the caller, like what is the caller's identity. We are the caller over here. It actually queries the IAM entity, over there. So which one is running. Now let's see if we can actually do that. Let's try this one first. Okay, we can. The user ID is this, the account is this, and this is the user that we were looking for, pam hyphen test, right? So this is the pam hyphen test user. Okay. Right. So let's see. Okay, we have to give him the flag. Now how do we get the flag? I guess the flag is somewhere hidden into the AWS account. Let's try enumerating it further. Can look for some things that we do not have. Like for example, first of all, we saw the admin one. We weren't able to access the admin one. You guys also saw. So let's try looking at the admin's AWS currently, right? Yes, right. We weren't able to access the admin's account. Just a second. Let's try. Right. We it still is saying. Let's just. Oh, sorry, my bad. Since now we have the credentials over here, we don't need to do the no sign request, because it says that kindly please do not use any credentials. And since we have credentials, we can tell him that. Oh, see now, see. We have the credential. Let's try. Let's see if we can cat it from there. I guess this won't work, because since cat is a binary, right? Cat is the custom binary. So let's copy it, right, over here. Right. We cannot copy it. No worries. Let's try syncing it. Okay, so what we can do is we can also sync. Like for example, if there is some change into that S3 bucket, and multiple people have the S3 buckets access, and we want to sync the changes over here, we can try that also. Let's try syncing it, right? Rather than doing CP, we can do sync. you can tell him to sync, and you can do dot slash, like currently in which like you can do dot also. Let's try. We can sync it. Access denied. Okay, no worries, no worries, no worries. Let's try something else. We can look for ls also. We can actually let's try if we can. Right, so there is a test file but it does not have anything, and there is this website transaction export.csv. Let's try this one if we can copy, but since we weren't able to sync it, we won't be able to copy it, right? Need my bad. Right, let's look for shared ones, migration files. Now let's see if we get some. Right, we have migration. Okay, so migrate secrets, we do have it currently over here, test-export.xml. let's try this one, and these are the both PDFs, I guess, from the S3's default. Let's try it. Test-export. Alright, I always try bad cat because it's better. It actually shows me it is easier to look for. Alright, so we have username password over here, root, and root password 456 exclamation. Admin's password is admin password 123 exclamation, and AWS IT administration access key secret. Okay, we have different secret key. Right, we have different passwords also. Jira, okay, so we have this Jira say user accounts password and administrator user. Jira is used for agile software development life cycle. Sorry. Okay, right. So we have this AWS's IT admin's password and key. So let's try configuring it again. Now what happens is that sometimes that since we need to configure multiple AWS accounts, we can do different profiles, right? We can do different profiles, and we can maintain them as profiles, different profiles. Like for example, let's just say we can look for it, how to set up just Google it, whatever you know, whatever keywords you are coming to your mind, and hope we can get the relevant results. Right. Configure hyphen profiles base type. Okay, so we can tell it. Right. Okay. AWS base configure hyphen profile. Let's say IT underscore admin, right? We say the IT underscore admin is the profile. The access key is this one, right? Just copy and paste it, and the secret key is this one, and copy and paste it. The region is, I guess, US hyphen east hyphen 1. Let's just do that. Because since the IT admin must be of the same region, right? Alright, this time I'm doing it JSON, right? Okay, so let's try AWS S3. Now when we look, how do I tell AWS that use that profile to do this particular query. So I can tell it via help of hyphen hyphen profile pro it underscore admin. I'll tell it that kindly use that ID admin's credentials to do so, right? uh, okay, I think I did something wrong. I guess while signing the key, wait a second. Right. I can rewrite those keys also, right? I can rewrite those things. This is the ID, right? And this is the secret key. This time I won't do any mistake, right? US hyphen east hyphen 1. Let's configure. Alright, right. Now let's try again. Oh, sorry. Alright, see, we can see now, and let's try copying it. Right, we can, and we get the flag. See, and we get the flag. Now let's recap what all we learned. First, right, see, this is how entertaining these labs were. So I guess you guys must have learned something. Let's look at what we learned in a recap, small recap. First, we went to this particular site, and while opening the site into a burp, and also with the help of link lifter, we saw that there was a S3 bucket being running in the background for this particular host. Now S3 buckets are the buckets that they are just like folders, and we have to treat them like that, so which can store multiple amount of data, right? And with the help of that particular data, we can right, we can actually connect these things remotely, uh, without actually going local into our own server. Okay, we can access that from anywhere. So we can access those S3 buckets with the help of Amazon's AWS CLI, and with that, just some simple basic commands we need to know about Linux, and the same commands can be run over that particular S3 bucket. We did ls, we got a zip file, and since the bucket was misconfigured, so we were able to list some items with the help of no hyphen sign hyphen request, right? uh, with the help of no sign request, we were able to access those things, and we got the zip file over here, we copied it and we unzipped it, we got the AWS CLI's commands, credentials, and the first credentials weren't working correctly, but sorry, not working correctly, not going to say my bad, they weren't actually for admin ones, right? So we had to get another credentials while searching for while searching for different credentials. We got into the migration files which weren't accessible without any credentials, but by getting the first set of credentials they were accessible, and those credentials came to help in that particular files gain. And after getting that file, we got admin's credentials, and after the admin's credentials we got the flag. So let's look at the commands also what we got. AWS, we do it S3, and the command that we want to do it. Now first is ls or cp, and let's try, ls, and now since we have to get to the S3 buckets, we will do S3 colon backslash and that particular domain's name, like for example devhugelogistics.com, and the particular folder that we need to access to, and we can get the contents of that. We also have to maintain profiles for different credentials, so that we won't get mixed up, and we don't have to rewrite the different set of credentials over and over again, which is a good practice to maintain different profiles. So we have to both credentials as well. So thank you so much for sticking till the end. I hope you guys have a good day. Let's meet in another video.